Hello and welcome, friends. This is a tour of the Louisville Slugger factory in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. I had the good fortune of visiting here with my family and wanted to share the experience with you. These first couple of video clips here are items that you can see without paying to go on the tour. I do highly recommend the tour. It wasn't terribly expensive. It was really informative. And you get a miniature bat at the end. So what you see here is essentially the Fort Knox of baseball bats, Louisville Slugger bats anyway. You see several famous sluggers there, and they each have a bat represented in here. In fact, all of the bats that have been signed with MLB players are represented here, so they could go grab a Ty Cobb or a Babe Ruth and remanufacture it because they have that example there. After you're done or while you're killing time, there are batting cages in the back part of it there, and this ridiculously large mitt that people sit on. Here we get into the tour part of it. Actually, it was really not as big as you would expect, but fun and informative. He's showing what's called a billet there. Billet is essentially the cut piece of the wood that they will then CNC into the proper specifications. They went into great detail about the wood and the grain and whatnot. Here they have one player from every MLB team represented, so that you could find one to connect with. This is the CNC machine. Actually, there's two of them here. They said if you've watched an MLB game in the last 30 years, they played with one that was CNC'd on their machine. And you could also see there was autograph by several players that came to visit, including George Brett of the Kansas City Royals. This is they're getting a little bit more manufactured. There's several machines along the way that sort of shape them. H&B Custom Shop. H&B is the parent company of Louisville, although nobody really knows about that. Here's where they make the ones that are more for you and I, the everyday people, not the ones used by the pros. So they have a little bit different standards, and they can mass produce those. In this case, they're grinding down and removing the tops and the bottoms that hold that billet into the CNC machine. And like most things today, there's a whole bunch of automation. In the beginning, they said it took half an hour or more to do one billet into a bat, and now they can do it in roughly 30 seconds. There we see Ronald Acuna Jr. and Robin Yount and a couple of their famous people that have some bats there that are being made. I thought that was pretty cool. Several bats there. They make tens of thousands a day, which I had no idea. Obviously, MLB players aren't going to use that many, so a lot of these are being used for people like you and me. Leagues all around America, all around the world, I suppose. These are the black dyed ones. They dip them in the ink and they hang them. I think he said it took about 30 to 40 minutes for them to dry appropriately. And after the tour, you get a mini bat. So they had several cages. My 10-year-old, naturally, she wanted to dig through. They're all made out of pine, I believe, but she wanted to make sure she got the best one. This is the start of their museum, which I believe you can go into without going on the tour. It looked like it was open to anybody. You just access it from a different door. That's a whole lot of bats up there. All different kinds throughout the years. There's Honus Wagner. They go into detail about some of the more famous people, Joe DiMaggio and whatnot. Several examples of their bats. Talk about the weight, and they all had their preferences.
Yep, we said all of them are.
And there's sections about the Negro League Baseball Museum, which is actually in Kansas City. My boy George right there. They also had one about the Women's League that was featured in the movie A League of Their Own with Tom Hanks and Gina Davis. There's George Brett again. Lots of really interesting things. Burn branding. They also talked about how the company started out making butter churners, which I did not realize. And here is the Fast pitch, feel the heat, it says. So they've got a video and a pitching machine back there, and you're supposed to try and start it up, and then it'll pitch a ball, and you've got to hit this button to strike the ball. My daughter tried several times and couldn't get the timing down. I only tried once, but it is indeed fast when you've got a 90-ish mile an hour ball coming right at you. It was a lot of fun to try. It's sort of an interactive thing for the kiddos. Striking.
Oh, you were trying to bat?
They also had several life-size wax stand-ups of some of the greats, which we'll get to here in a minute. What kind of wood? So this talks about the main woods that they use: maple, pine, ash, and poplar, I believe, are the correct ones. Let me see, 3 represented there. I hope I remember that right. So there's a Ken Griffey Jr. And obviously, you can get your picture taken with your favorite. A lot of people did. Bridget stood next to the great Bambino. There's a Derek Jeter. That's a good mixture of like some of the old school ones and some of the newer players, so that everybody had a chance to kind of connect depending on whatever generation you were. There's the Babe. We had just watched Sandlot, so she had a lot of fun with that one. And Jackie Robinson, Hank Aaron, I believe, are over there. Just really cool. People are taking turns, taking their pictures in front of all these. It's sort of like brings it to life, being able to stand next to him. Here we go. Here's the great Bambino and Bridget. She did a pretty good job posing there. So Joe DiMaggio, as you may know, had for the longest time the streak, the longest hit streak. Apparently he used 3 different bats during that 50-some-odd game hit streak. This is the 3rd bat of those. And then here they had a game-used section where you could stand in line and you could go up and actually handle bats used by some of the greatest MLB players out there. Well, maybe not all of them are some of the greatest, but some well-known ones. You see Christian Yelich there, Cody Bellinger, Ronald Acuna. I personally, they let me do 2, and I held Alex Gordon and Darryl Strawberries, which you'll see the Darryl Strawberry one here at the end. This is Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese, if I believe correctly. A lot of good nods to the golden age and sort of breaking the color barrier. There's so much history in here. It's not just about the sports and the physical manufacturing of it. So outside of the museum area, in one of the auxiliary wings, they had this collection of interesting relics. This is a chair that they were thrown, that they made for Hank Aaron when he came to visit them. And they also have, other things other than baseball bats that they make, like here, hockey sticks. There's a Gretzky there. Lots of interesting things that people don't really know about. These are the Hall of Fame names. So anybody that's signed with the Louisville Slugger, if you do, then you get your signature on your baseball bat. If you don't, and your team uses them, it's in block letters. This is all of the Hall of Famers that signed, so obviously there are signatures here. Everybody is represented, every MLB player. See, they got William Herman, Babe, he's got a double one there. Very cool. So throughout the years, there have been, gosh, I don't remember what number they said. I want to say hundreds, maybe even 1,000 some odd players. And this wall has them all. So it was kind of fun to go through and try and find each of them. Now, they are broken out by year, but then not necessarily alphabetically. I think it's probably by when they signed. So there's time frames there. So I was able to find George Brett's and a couple others, but this wall just kind of goes on and on and on, it seems. And it connects you from the ticketing office and the museum over to the gift shop, which you can't pass up the gift shop. These are the earliest names. You might notice Ty Cobb up there, very noticeable, all the way back in the early 1900s. Obviously, we went home with a couple of souvenirs, some baseballs, some baseball bats, a magnet. There's no credit baseball. I love that. And then in that back wall there, you'll see that you can get a personalized bat. So my wife was kind enough to let me make it my Father's Day present to actually get a personalized bat. So here in probably about a month, I will have that coming, and I will be able to share that with all of you. And this is just outside is the world record largest baseball bat. Isn't that insane? Well, thank you for coming on this tour with us. I hope you enjoyed.